Last night, the Faculty Senate at Michigan State voted that their school should join the other schools in the Big Ten in a totally non-sports related agreement. The faculty at Michigan State voted last night that their school should join with all the other schools in the Big Ten in what they're calling a mutual defense compact, a mutual academic defense compact. And what that means is kind of what it says. When Trump inevitably comes after one of the schools in the Big Ten, be it Michigan State or Rutgers or Ohio State or UCLA or USC or University of Washington or any of the other schools in that conference, the idea is that all the other schools would agree to help that school defend itself and fight back, which would mean lawyers and experts and advocacy and lobbying and public relations. They would all do it together. They would treat Trump attacking any one of those schools as an attack on all of those schools. Any school that wants to survive what Trump and Vance are doing here, what their agenda is here for American universities and colleges, any school that wants to survive what's coming their way better find a way to not have to fight alone. And so, yes, now we are seeing all kinds of colleges all across the country move toward mutual defense pacts with other schools. Basically, little NATO treaties for all the colleges. An attack on one is an attack on all. I will tell you, I have no connection to any of these efforts, but I would just say as an observer, just speaking strategically, my only note on this might be go faster. Once he's targeted you, it's too late to have a mutual defense treaty in position. You have to have these things in place ahead of time before he signs that executive order or yanks your funding or does whatever he's going to do to you. Time is short. River rises.
All right, we've got breaking news. This one is kind of awesome. The University of Massachusetts is forming a mutual academic defense compact. So I don't know if you've been paying attention, but both Harvard and Columbia University have been involved in the Trump administration, basically putting pressure on them to censor their material and force it to be more right wing. And Columbia acquiesced and yielded, and Harvard said hell no, and they got $8 billion in their funding pulled. And so the University of Massachusetts is basically urging 250 other universities to form this mutually academic defense compact. And here's the quote. The faculty's resolution proposes the creation of public and land-grant university mutual academic defense compact and the Massachusetts Higher Education Mutual Academic Defense Contract. These initiatives aim to provide legal, financial, and strategic support to member institutions facing government challenges. So the idea here is that they're going to basically share intel about what is happening with each other, right? And then they're going to share financial and legal support so that, you know, one of them actually is using the same lawyer over and over and over again because he'll get, you know, he'll become like an expert in dealing with these systems. You'll save money. And then he's immediately available. He knows what's going on. And then you can pool your funds. And so like if everybody puts, you know, a smaller amount of cash in, as soon as the administration takes on one of these people, they can fight back. And it's kind of like NATO in a lot of ways, right? It's kind of like, you remember like the 13 colonies, united we stand, divided we fall. So it's very interesting. This is a great idea. And it's a shame that, you know, we're having to fight a tyrannical government. We all got to fight in some way. So.
Can we just give a round of applause to Harvard University? I think that is the first and last time I will ever say that about Harvard University because I didn't even bother to apply, but also everyone being Harvard people, it's often annoying. However, the way that only Harvard, perhaps, Columbia failed its mission, but the way that Harvard was able to stand up against the Cheeto Man was incredible. On top of that, as someone who works in marketing, I commend them for changing their homepage of harvard.edu. Completely redone overnight. It seems like in 48 hours of a brand new website experience. Copy, stats, links, UX, all of it is done in a matter of days to feature the power of the research that they do and the different impacts that it has and different facets of people's lives. Let me show you. Like, what? This wasn't there a few days ago. And then it goes into this little section and it literally calls out the government. Like, what's at risk? Supported by the federal government. The support is essential for continuation of groundbreaking innovations. Without federal funding, this work comes to a halt. And it outlines everything. It's just incredible that they did this in 2 days. And it takes companies and brands weeks or months to redo a website. So snaps for Harvard.
In the demand letter that the Trump administration sent to my university Friday night that became public on Monday, one of his demands was to have the school appoint, or allow him to appoint, a federal overseer who would audit every course on this campus, every department, to try to figure out if it met the ideological balance that's preferred by the Trump administration. And that federal official would then require us to hire new teachers to teach the way that Trump wants us to teach, to change our courses. This is absolute outright efforts to take over federally what is taught on American campuses. It's a move that we see in countries across the globe when dictators are trying to come into power.
Hi, this is Catherine Franke, a retired member of the Columbia Law Faculty. You know, Columbia University was founded 271 years ago as King's College. It later reincorporated itself as Columbia University in the city of New York. What I am hearing is that tomorrow we will learn that the university has agreed to a form of formal oversight and governance by the Trump administration, thus rendering Columbia University a subsidiary of the federal government of the Trump administration. The Columbia University that we all know, that I loved, will die tomorrow. In bits and pieces, sometimes big bits, sometimes small bits. Over the last 2 years, Columbia has little by little given up any kind of meaningful commitment to its faculty, to its students, and to its incredible history as one of the most premier research and teaching institutions in the world. And that institution dies tomorrow. I'm just heartbroken. I'm really just heartbroken. You will be told that the university had no choice but to do this to get our $400 million back. We'll see if we get it back for how long. And it had to do so because we had a problem of rampant anti-Semitism on our campus. Let me say clearly, we do not have a problem of rampant anti-Semitism on our campus. We have not failed to address the issues of safety of our students. Quite the contrary. The university has put its faculty and its students at risk through its own actions across the entire constituency of the university and allowed itself to be held hostage to a political agenda that will now be concretized in a new way in this agreement that we'll hear about tomorrow. I'm just brokenhearted. And if you care about Columbia and are part of that university, or the idea of a university in a free society and a democracy, you should be too.
I know I've made several videos about this, but Harvard is truly teaching a masterclass on how to deal with President Donald Trump and his administration when you don't agree with what they're doing. Every American business, every American institution, etc., as long as it's American, is protected by the United States Constitution and, of course, whatever constitution is within their state and city, etc. Harvard is showing you that if the president or you feel like the president and his administration is overstepping boundaries or that doesn't follow the Constitution, you have every right to stand up for yourself and fight them. Harvard keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again. No government will dictate who we hire, how we hire, what we teach, and who teaches it. Not at this university, because that right is granted to us by the U.S. Constitution. So when President Donald Trump and his administration keep trying to use fear tactics and blackmail damn near, like, we're going to reduce funding, we're going to investigate you, we're going to send letters from the Department of Homeland Security to tell you to do what we say or else. Harvard is just like, do it. Do it. We're not doing anything wrong or that violates the law or the Constitution. Do it. You want to investigate us? Investigate us. We're going to come out clean. You want to take money from us? Okay, we'll go get money from our private funders anyway. But one thing that ain't going to change is what we teach, who we hire, how we hire, and who we decide to let teach here. So you can do all that. And you can throw at us whatever you want, but we are going to follow the rule of law, and you better do it too. That's how you stand on business. That's how you fight. You can't fold at the first sign of adversity. All these other universities have just folded. Oh, no, you're going to take our funding? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whatever you say. Whatever you like. Harvard is simply saying no. 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 And if you notice, as of now, the Trump administration is just trying everything but the legal route. Like, I mean, of course, they're probably looking for legal means to get their way. But, like, freezing funds, Okay, cool. Like, we ain't tripping. Sending threatening letters. Okay, fine. We ain't tripping. But like, literally, that's all they can do. They can't shut down Harvard. Like, it's a private institution. They can't. Nobody's been arrested. Nobody, like, you can't punish them via the law. And Harvard knows that. Just like whatever else your problem is with the Trump administration, if you're operating within the law, they can't do anything to you. They could try to like peer pressure you, not peer pressure you, but pressure you. They may affect your resources, your lifestyle a little bit, but you have the ability to endure. I'm Team Harvard. To sum this video up, just know I'm standing with Harvard. And I pray they see this through. I pray they don't fold. Hold it down. Hold it down.